if you're joining me online. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. We'll start on page 46. Igale, gale, gale, na. Uvros, uvros, gavivala. Hayet sugat, sugat shlomecha. Igale, gale, gale, na. Sugat shlomecha. Higale, gale, gale, na. Uvros, uvros, gavi bala. Sugat, sugat, shlomecha. Ay, 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 Page 15 or 48. Lichun Iran al Adonai Nariya Letzor Ishenu Nekadim Afanav Betoda Bizmiro Nariyalo. Arbaim Shana Akot Bedor Vaomar Amdoye Levabem Vehem Lo Yadu Derachai Asher Nishmati Be'avi Im Yavon El Menuchati Shiru Ladonai Shir Chada Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Ladonai Baruch Shemo Vasru Miyom Liyom Yeshuato Zabru Vagoyim Gevodo V'chol Ha'amim Livleyotam Ki Gadol Adonai Umolal Me'on Norau Al Kol Elohim Ay Kol Elohim Ha'amim Elilim V'Adonai Shamayim Asa Hod V'Hadar Lefanav Tiferet B'Mikdasho Havul Adonai Mishpechot Amim Havul Adonai Kavod V'Hoz Havul Adonai Kavod Shemo Seu mincha lechazrotav hayishtachavu ladona hehadrat kodesh chilu mibanav kol haaretz Himru bagoyim Adonai malach avdi gon tevel bahalim od yadinamim b'meisharim yizmechu hashamayim v'dagel haaretz yiram hayamum lo yalo sadai b'chol asher bo Haziranenu golat zeyah lifnei Adonai kiva lishmot haaretz yishmot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim be'emunato Page 17 or 51. Adonai malach tagel haaretz yismechuim rabim anarafel tzaddik. Shama v'tismach Zion v'tagel abnot Yehuda leman mishpatecha Adonai ki ata Adonai Elyon al gol haaretz mionoleit al gol Elohim ohavei Adonai sinura shomer nafshot chasidav mi'arashayim yatzilem or zaru ala tzadik ulishrei lev simcha tzadikim b'Adonai v'odu lezecher kodsho mizmor shir l'Adonai shir chadash k'div l'Adonai shir. Page 18 or 52. Lifnei Adonai kibol yishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek v'amim b'meisharim Adonai malach yagezu amim yoshev krubim tizu Moshe ve'Aaron ve'Kohanon u'Shmuel ve'Korei Shimo korim el Adonai ve'hu yahanem ba'amod anan yedaber aleim shamru edotav b'chok natan lamo Adonai Eloheinu atanitam Hel nosei aida lahem benogem alalilotam ramimu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtakamu le'ar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Mizmor leDavid Havul Adonai b'nei Elim Havul Adonai kavod b'hol Havul Adonai gemot shemo yishtachavu l'Adonai Adrat Kodesh Kol Adonai Alamayim El Agavonirim Adonai Alamayim Rabim Kol Adonai Bakoachai Kol Adonai Mehadar Kol Adonai Shaber Arazim Vai Shaber Adonai Edarze Halmanon Vayar Kidem Kemo Egel Lebanon Vesirion Kemo Ben Rehemim Adonai Chosev Labotesh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Cholel Ayalot Vayechesof Yeharot Uvechalo Kulo Merkavod Adonai Lama Bul Yashaba Yesheb Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten Adonai Varech et Amo V'Shalom. Page 20 or 54. Ana Bekoach Gedulat Yemincha Datir Zerura Kabel Rinatamicha Sagabenu Tarenu Nora Hanna Bekoach Gedulat Yemincha Tatir Zerura Kabel Rinatamicha Sagabenu Tarenu Nora Hiya, 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 is page 21 or 56. Lecha dodi likrat kala bene Shabbat negabela Shamor bezachor bedibur echad ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'letehila le'echad odi likrat kala bene Shabbat negabela likrat Shabbat lecho bene chagi mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem nesu chasof Maseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi hoy likrat kala bene Shabbat negabela mikdash Melachim Elucha Gomi Zehi Mitocha Hafecha Rav Lach Sheber B'yemecha Macha Ve'u Yachamol Aleichem Lalecha Dodi Hay 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 Likrat Kala Hay 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam Hid Narim Yafarkum Ilivshi Bigeti Fartecha Miyal Yad Ben Ishai Ben Halach Migora El Nafshi Ge'al Alecha Dodi Ay 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 Likrat Kala Ay 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam Hidoreri Giva Oreku Ore 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 Shir Daberi Giva Adonai Allah Ignigla Lecha Dodi Hay Hay Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hay 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 Lo Devoshi Velo Digami Matish Tochachi Umatemi Bach Yechesu Anye Ami V'nim Nedair Al Tila Lecha Dodi Hay Amanai Likrat Kala Hay 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hayulim Shivsa Shosayik V'rachaku Kol Mivala Yasir Zalayik Eloayik Himsos Chatana Halkala Lecha Dodi Hay 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 Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Yaminu Smalti Varosi B'yat Adonai Ta'aritzi Al Yaharish Ben Bartzi V'nis Mecha V'nagila Lecha Dodi Hay 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 Likrat Kala Hay 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 B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Boi B'Shalom Ateret Bala Gam B'Simcha Uv'Tzahala Toch Emunei Hamsegula Boi Chala Lecha Dodi Hay Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. You guys, good Shabbos. You may be seated. Page 23 or 59. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat Tov Lo Magadlu Masechaya Meod Amku Machshevotecha Hayayar Magadlu Masechaya Meod Amku Machshevotecha Seva Nisheni Veranani Miulagi Kiashar Adonai Turi Velo Avla Tabo Adonai Malak Yud Lavish. Edo Tachanenu Meo Levet Chanav Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamin. This week we observed the Yartzeiten of Harold Levy, Dina Kronberg, Harold Levy, father of Jerry Levy, Dina Kronberg, grandmother of Merrill Druckerman, Rabbi Theodore Stampfer, father of Morris Stampfer, Harold Weissman, husband of Sally Weissman, and Alec Rossman, father of Robert Rossman. May their memories and the memories of all those whom we recall be blessings in lieu of Kaddish, because we do not have a minyan here at the PJC. We can include the Psalm 27 on page 80. Le David Adonai Revi Al titneni benefish taraki kamubi hadesha kevei vayafeach Hamas luleem antilero betu Adonai beretz chayim Kavei el Adonai chazak vayemetz libecha v'kavei el Adonai. Good Shabbos, everyone. It's so nice to have Mark and Linda with us. Mark, I knew you were here. I didn't know Linda was. It's so nice to see you guys back. It's so nice to see you on your feet. So I want to share something very quick. And I'll share first that I was talking very late last night with a close friend and colleague of mine, another rabbi, and mostly talking about sermons and talking about current events and talking about, to what extent we were going to talk about the war in Ukraine, to what extent we were, and if we were going to do it, how we were going to do it. And, the question we kept coming back to, which I don't have an answer to, was, what particularly Jewish do I have to say about it, other than, of course, as Jews, we love peace and pray for peace and pray for the health and safety of everyone affected by the war, and hopefully it has a speedy and peaceful conclusion. But other than that, what do we say about it? And one of the things that we talked about a lot was sort of how to make sense of, in the context of what's going on right now, the fact that, by some estimates, something like 20% of American Jews have family who used to live in Ukraine, in that part of the world. Or, what does it mean in the context of what's going on now that pretty much all of my favorite Hasidic Rebbes, from the Baal Shem Tov, to his grandson Moshe Chaim Ephraim, to Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, to one of my very favorites, Reb Nachman of Bratslav, who has the prayer for peace that is included in Sim Shalom, all of them made their career in what is today Ukraine. And what does that mean as Jews? And what does it mean that today Ukraine has a Jewish president? I mean, what does that mean as Jews? And it's hard because it's complicated, and I'm not so sure. And we weren't so sure last night as we were talking. And I say I'm not so sure, because though my grandmother of blessed memory grew up in a small town outside Krakow, and my grandfather grew up somewhere in Belarus, in a town called David Horodok, which no longer exists, it would have been unintelligible to them if you said that they were Polish or Belarusian. I mean, it would have been intelligible because they were highly intelligent people, but it wouldn't have made any sense to how they thought of themselves. And the fact is, I can speak with 100% confidence, God willing, in the name of my grandparents, when they said they would have said and affirmed that they had much, much more in common with a Jew from Baghdad than they did with their non-Jewish neighbor in Belarus or in Poland. And I don't say that by any means to say that, well, as Jews, we don't need to be concerned about what's going on in Ukraine. Now, of course we do. Of course we do. We're supposed to be the students of Aharon. Ohev shalom v'rodev shalom. We love peace, and when we pursue peace. And when there's war anywhere, it threatens peace everywhere, and that is a fact of urgent, urgent Jewish concern. But we were talking last night about, there's all of these rabbis who lived in Ukraine, and they have all of these teachings that we quote all the time, and what's that? What do we say about that on this particular Shabbat, if anything? And as I said, I'm not sure. So I thought, in my being not sure, I would turn to a rabbi older and wiser and certainly more famous than me, Reb Nachman of Bratslav, who's a famous 19th century Hasidic Rebbe whose prayer for peace many communities, in our community until we started just sort of cutting down on some of the prayers during the Torah service only because we were trying to save time, not because we were not praying for peace and not because Reb Nachman's prayer for peace isn't beautiful. And we'll say it tomorrow. But I thought I'd share another teaching from Reb Nachman, which came to mind last night. I had remembered it, and I looked it up last night, and I was actually surprised a little bit by what it said, and about how sort of uncanny it was. And he said, sometimes when a man sits alone in the forest, he can become insane. And this is the forest in Ukraine, outside of Uman, where he made, or Bratslav perhaps, where he made most of his career. And he said this is because in his solitude, he contains within him all of the nations as they struggle with one another. And he is forced at every moment to embody the aspect of a different nation according to their struggle. Nation against nation, he says, all of which are included within him alone. And consequently, he can become completely insane because of the changes of consciousness that occur within him on account of the struggle between nations that, as mentioned above, are also included within him. But when he dwells with other people, the war is spread out among all the members of the households or among the neighbors. And it's an interesting teaching and a mysterious one, and one which obviously, reading it with the mindset of sort of what exactly is the Jewish thing to say about the war in Ukraine, it lands differently than it might land at another time. And it's not entirely clear what he means by the struggles of the nations. But I think one thing he means is that, the world, as citizens of the world affects us in very, very deep ways. And things around the corner affect us in deep ways, and things halfway around the world affect us in deep ways. And that we are supposed to be, as Jews, affected in deep ways by the things that are going on around us. And it's not entirely clear always what we're supposed to do, except, he says, I think, that we can be with our friends, and we can talk about it, and we can share some of the struggles of the world, and we can share our own confusion, right? When I don't know exactly what it is, the Jewish thing that we're supposed to say at this particular moment, I can share it with you, I hope. And together, I think that can make the dangers of the world a little bit less dangerous. And God willing, hopefully we can all get to work and do our part and make the world slightly better and slightly safer and slightly more peaceful. A good Shabbos once again. We don't have a minyan in the room, so we will forego Baruch Hu, but we will continue with Mariv on page 28 or page 64. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Umavir yom umevi laila, umavir ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzevot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamim l'chaleinu le'olam v'ahed. Baruch atah Adonai, hamari v'aravim, ahavat olam be'Yisrael. Ki hem chayinu ve'orech yameinu, v'hem negei yomam v'laila, ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael El Melech Ne'eman. Page 30 or 66. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Adonai Elohechem Emet, page 32 or 70. Umalchuto beratzon gimlu alehem, Moshe uMiriam uBnei Yisrael, Lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yameru chulam, Oy michamocha b'helim Adonai, michamocha nedar b'kodesh norad ilot, Osefel malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayom livnei Moshe zeli, anu v'yameru Adonai imloch le'olam v'ahen Ugalom yad chazak mimenu Baruch Adonai al Yisrael. Page 33 or 73. Hashkivenu ra'aleinu l'shalom v'amidim alkin v'chaim v'fos aleinu v'zidatu. Ushmor tzeiteinu v'oeinu l'chaim v'shalom yata v'yad olam ufros aleinu zukat shalom echa. Baruch atah Adonai Abore Sugan Shalom Aleinu Al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 3474. V'shameru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיה לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי Shabbat vayinafas. The formal text of the silent Amidah begins on page 35 or 76. יתברך ויתרומם, יתברך ויתרומם, שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד. היה 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 Is on page 93 or page 49.
Kedesham b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho b'yava u'batzon yinkilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reshit ki'u yom tefillah mitzvotei kodesh zecher l'tzvat mitzrayim kivanu l'rachota v'yotanu kidashani kolamim v'shabbat Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
seher breshit. Shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama. Shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'goraleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shem Shemayim v'yosdam Malchut shelcha hiramet imloch bekavod Kakatu b'tortech Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom ha'u yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Good Shabbos again. We have so much going on. I'm going to invite up our president, Dr. David Haft, to make the announcements. I will make one announcement about just something that's happening sort of at my house and about the various efforts around refugee resettlement. There is a meeting this Sunday at Christ Church at 5:30 p.m. To talk about the joint interfaith effort in Pelham to sponsor help support a recent Afghani refugee family that is going to be relocated, moving to New Rochelle. So if you're interested in that effort, please come on Sunday, or else contact me or Michael Dvorkin or Adam or Maria Abeshouse, who are sort of leading that effort on behalf of the PJC. And also, related to that, on March 4th is Refugee Shabbat, which is a national highest initiative where lots of communities pledge to speak about and teach about the refugee crisis. We are having, in partnership with the Westchester Jewish Coalition on Immigration, we are really excited to have a guest, Farhad Kurami, and his wife, also recent Afghan refugees, are going to come share some of their story briefly during Shul on Friday night. And then after that, they're going to come back to our house, my house, for a dinner and a salon and a chance to do some question and answer and get to know them better. I am asking for RSVPs for the dinners because space is somewhat limited by the size of the house, and also we want to know how much food to get. So there is still space. So if you're here and you're interested in that, please email Julie in the office, and I will invite up. Yeah, next Friday night, not this. Service will still be here, 6 o'clock to 7, as per normal, and then after that, we'll go back to my place for dinner. So, and to talk more with our guests. So, please come to that if you're interested. And now, Dr. David Haft to announce the many, many things we have going on.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I say it every time, but it's always a pleasure to see everyone here, and particularly Mark and Linda. I wasn't sure Mark would be able to come over. So, Shabbat Shalom to you. First off, I want to announce the Kiddush sponsors for this Shabbat. This is Steve and Hildy Martin. This is in memory of Hildy's mother, Beatrice Kelber. And of course, we can always use more sponsors. There are more Shabbats coming. So contact Andrea Rothberg and she will help you, or Julia, and we'll set it up. Sunday is a very busy day, as you probably are gathering. They have the book group. That's going to be at 11 a.m. via Zoom. The book is 10 Years Gone by a gentleman named Jonathan Dunsky, who will be joining the Zoom meeting to discuss his book from Israel. And if you need further information, contact Barbara Saunders Adams and Jacqueline.
I just want to say, if people have not read the book, it's still very interesting to come to the talk. In fact, he touches on this, one of the things that the rabbi mentioned tonight about how geopolitical crises can create madness in the individual. So I think that I learned things about Israel life after the war, life in Israel after the war, and some historical, and it's also a murder mystery, but that's, it'll be a spoiler if you come to the talk, but I
Thank you, Jacqueline. Uh, And the rabbi's already spoken about refugee resettlement issues. Just to add to that, we're not being asked to financially support this family. There's funding for that. But we are asked if we could volunteer some help to the family to help them establish themselves, introduce themselves to American culture, what they need to do and how they have to do it. Which is not always so intuitive for someone from another country. And we should be aware that there will probably be a significant refugee problem in the near future with the invasion and kind of, I guess the right word is rape of the Ukraine by the Russians. Jacqueline, would you like to come up and try?
I think we should mention that Michael Dworkin initiated this.
Yes, Michael Dvork, thank God I have my wife. Michael is in charge through Social Action, is leading this program, and if you want to learn more about it, you can speak with Michael. We also on Sunday have the film club, and the movie is Mississippi Burning, which I got to watch last night with Jacqueline and my son and daughter-in-law, and it is really quite a powerful movie, and it's got two really fabulous actors in it. If I could ever remember their names, one of them is,
I can't help you with that.
I knew them last night, but I can't think of their names right now. But they're really, it's a superb performance, and it's very powerful, quite powerful. And that will be on at 7:30 p.m. All the connections, this is all going to be on Zoom, so you can look it up on the weekly announcements, and if you need information, contact Mariut Herzog. And also on Sunday, no, it's not this, so isn't there a rehearsal this Sunday?
There is, if that applies to, yes.
If anyone here is participating in the spring play, which is The Producers, going to be on Sunday the 30th at 3 p.m. That's also a Sunday. You can get tickets, which are free, and it should be a lot of fun, and it should be interesting. Of course, they say it's for a mature audience. I don't think there's any, is there any sex in it? I never thought of it as having sex in it, but, and
It has adult themes.
themes, yeah, but nothing inappropriate, but there's a thinking that it's inappropriate for,
PG-13, definitely.
well, it's kind of,
In today's world,
yeah,
Rabbi, how can we have a play like that when we have so many children that will be attending?
I think they're not supposed to.
it says,
All of Sari's promotional materials say it's for 14.
14 and up. I find that really kind of,
Okay,
I think kids can figure this out too. Maybe not a 4-year-old, but certainly an 11-year-old.
That's true.
Okay, getting on. We have a weekly Torah portion, adult education, that's led by Lori Weber, our intern. It's on Wednesdays. It's a mini course. It's part of the Lunch and Learn Chug. And this is on the letters of the law, so which basically the Sifrot, not Sifrot, no, what's the word for root? Shorsh, no, Shorsh, yeah. Working on words have many, with the same root, may have many meanings or implications, and she's going to lead a program on that. And you don't have to be a fluent Hebrew reader or understander to participate. That's via Zoom. It's on March 2nd and March 9th, and it's noon to 1 p.m. And guess what's coming?
First Friday.
Not yet. Good guess. Yes, because it's not really First Friday, it's almost First Friday this time, because the
Second First Friday.
yeah, the First Friday is taken up with the refugee Shabbat, so sponsor the second Friday for a community dinner. I hope you all will come. And meet your fellow congregants. It goes on and on. But also, on March 13th, we have the Purim Carnival. So Purim is coming too. And that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's going to be a costume parade with prizes. Wow. And a small Purim play. Anything I'm not covering here, Rabbi?
Nope. Humble bus, laser tag, and a lot of fun. And then Purim's on Wednesday night.
Is there an age limit for laser tag?
No.
All right, so think about that. And also, we are exploring the possibility of running an Israel trip in the summer of '23. A 2-week trip with kind of the standard itinerary: Haifa, Galilee, Golan, Jerusalem, the Negev, Dead Sea, Masada. And if you're interested in that, you contact Adam Gerber. It says by this Monday. Is there a cutoff?
No, but we definitely have enough people to have another meeting, which is great news. So,
Okay.
so if you want to, there's no cutoff, but we'd like to have like a follow-up meeting, like sometime this spring. So.
Okay, so anyhow, if you need more information, they want you to contact him by February 28th, particularly if you're interested in participating. The Scholar Stream series is still going on. It's free of charge. You just have to register. I think you have to go to the weekly announcements. It just gives you the link to register. And these are given on, I think it's on Sundays, aren't they? They don't actually say here what day of the week it's produced on. Anyhow, they have real scholars from the JTS and the Rabbinical Assembly, and it should be really an interesting process. I myself don't participate in it, but it should be good. Okay, anything else from our congregation? Okay, and I want to welcome Mark and Linda back. It's really good to see you guys. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, and I'm going to give it to you.
Yigdal's page 53 and 114. Yigdal Elohim Chai Yishtabach Nitzav Eined El Metziuto Echad Ve'en Yachid Yechudo Nelam Vegam Intzov Le'achtuto Ein Lo Demot HaGufe Ein No Guf Lo Naroch Elav Kedushato Gadmon Lechol Davar Asher Nivra Rishon Ve'ein Reishi LeReshito Oh no Adon Olam Ve'echol No Tzar Yoreg Gedulato Malchuto Shefa Nevuato Netano El Anshe Segulato Ve'tifarto Lokam Be'Yisrael Kemoshe Hod Navi Umavid Et Munato Torah Temenat Le'amoel Al Yanivionem Andeto Holo Yachalifael Elo Yamir Dato Le'olamim Le'zulato Sofe Ve'yodea Setarenu Mabid Le'sof Dabar Le'kadmato Gomel Ish Chesed Gemifalo Noten Le'rasha Raked Rishato Yishlach Le'ket Yamin Meshichenu Litol Mechake Ket Yeshuoto O Mitim Yechayel Berov Chasto Baruch Deyad Hashem Nilato Mitim Yechayel Berov Chasto Baruch Deyad Shem Dihilato. Good Shabbos everyone. Good Shabbos.